It's 9:03. Let's get started. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us from different time zones. I am Mamta Shanmugam. I head the marketing and I'll be your host for today's session. One thing I have learned from speaking with various business leaders across industry is that nobody wakes up in the morning asking for more dashboards. All they want is answers without spending hours searching for them. And that's exactly why we are here today. Before we jump into the webinar, I would like to play a very short, tiny video. Let's watch. Pay close attention to the facts and numbers. They are quite remarkable. Let's watch.
Just 6 years ago, Anthropic didn't exist. Technology should feel natural, designed carefully around human needs at $965 billion. Do we need an AI agent? Claude writes 80% of our own code. Anthropic, building itself. Shall we get started?
Can you believe this just took 5 minutes? This video took just 5 minutes to be created, thanks to AI. And let's just, like I mentioned, those facts and numbers. It's just remarkable, isn't it? 6 years ago, Anthropic did not exist. Today, the company behind Claude, which is Anthropic, is approaching a valuation of $1 trillion. $1 trillion. And one more interesting fact is 70% of the Fortune 100 companies are leveraging Claude in some capacity today. And what's even more fascinating is that Claude is building itself. 80% of the code is written by Claude itself. Claude building Claude. Isn't it amazing? So, AI is no longer just a tool organization is using or will be using. It's becoming a teammate. It's becoming a collaborator. A decade ago, organizations were asking, do we need dashboard? Today, the organization is asking, do we need an AI agent? Very soon, the question may change. So the message from the video is very clear. AI opportunity is no longer theoretical. It's no longer something that's coming in the future. It's happening right now. Organizations that learn this, how to use effectively, will make a significant advantage over that don't. Which brings us perfectly to today's webinar, today's session. So I told about Anthropic, Claude, and the incredible potential at which AI is transforming today. What can be the next logical question? Why GWC? Why are we hosting this webinar? So I want to answer this with one simple slide with our experience and our commitment to staying ahead of curve. Today, we are a team of 250 plus data and AI experts serving 80 plus clients across industries, and we have delivered 200 projects successfully. We have already built 100 plus agents, and more than 10 are in production, which means we have helped enterprises moving from experimentation to real business outcomes. As you can see, we have already achieved more than 125 plus Claude certifications along with 150 plus major Domo certification. In fact, this demonstrates our investment in understanding and applying the technology deeply, not just talking about it. So I am super excited for the webinar and for the session and introducing our today's speaker. First, joining with me, our CTO, Subhash Ramu. He has been the face of GWC, forefronting of helping enterprise design, architect, implement large scale implementation in terms of data and AI. And also, we have DJ, who's Dhanavijay, our Associate VP of Engineering. He closely works with organization from architecture and implementation to scaling enterprise grade deployments. Before I jump into today's discussion, we want to understand a little more. I have few poll questions I would like you to answer that will be on your screen shortly. So take couple of minutes, not minutes, seconds to answer those poll questions. Can we have the poll? Are you able to see the poll questions on your screen? You can comment yes or no in the chat. Yep, here we go. So let's take quick 10 to 15 seconds to answer the question that is on your screen now. I think, okay, we are good to go. We have 50 responses. Lovely. With this, over to you, Subhash and DJ. Walk us through today's webinar. We are super excited to see the potential of Claude along with Domo.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mamta. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Now, let me just read what's on this slide, right? Because it says in 6 words what most organizations feel every single day. Enterprise data is everywhere, but intelligence is not. That is exactly the problem we are here to solve today. Because most enterprises, whatever that we have met today, have more data than what they ever had actually. They have cloud warehouses, live pipelines, connected dashboards, hundreds of reports. The infrastructure investment basically has been enormous over the last decade actually, right? So, but the decisions still take too long. Analysts, they are buried in the spreadsheets. Leaders are still waiting for the answers that should exist already. Think of it like a massive library with millions of books perfectly arranged, cataloged, but the lights are turned off and you are the single person within that and the door is locked. Everything is there, but you are not able to access. That is the state of enterprises today, actually. So, what we are going to show you over the next 45 minutes, and most importantly, the next 10 minutes is a combination of three different things. The cloud, which is going to reason over the data, which is residing within Domo, and the MCP, which is a kind of an USB plug between your cloud as well as Domo. So together they turn that the dark library into something that answers the hardest questions just in seconds actually. That is what you're gonna see now. Over to you, Dana, for the live demonstration.
Yeah. Am I audible to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, thank you, Subhash. Thanks for this awesome intro, briefing us on what we're going to do today. So yeah, we'll just go into the demo and just so that when I walk us through the demo, we're all not lost. I'll just briefly explain what we're trying to do over here and solve over here. So when we say and hear AI solution, the AI itself is not the entire solution, right? So what has to happen? So A is Claude here. What we have used here is basically the place where the brain is hosted. So Claude is actually the brain. So it is where the thinking happens, right? So thinking is just a part of the solution, and whereas there are other components to the solution that has to be in place to give life to the thinking, right? So that's what we have tried to build here. So let me just go into our Domo instance where we've built and hosted this entire solution. So is my let me just put it into full screen so that we're not obstructed. So what we see here is a solution that we've built for one of our large scale retail enterprises, right? So the idea of this solution is to use the reasoning capability of Claude to act on top of data and create action items so that the business users can start taking actions instead of going into dashboards and looking through the data and then signaling out actions themselves. What if Claude acts and creates those action items, and all they have to do is go and validate those action items, and if okay, they can proceed with it. So that's what we built it, and solution where the agent itself acts as the analyst, right? So sounds very simple, but the amount of engineering that has gone into this is massive, that you will see why such a level of engineering is actually needed. So so people might ask, I have Claude, I have my data. What if I just put my spreadsheet in a spreadsheet with 10 lakh, 20 lakh of raw data into my Claude, and then I can just ask questions on top of it? That might be, one of the uh, things that we should avoid, mainly because it's going to consume all your tokens in one single sweep. When you feed all your data into the Claude layer, what's going to do? It's going to just, every single word that is inside your data set, it's going to be consumed as tokens. And you're just going to run out of it in just 1 or 2 days, and then you'll end up paying more to Claude. And that is not the way we want to run our show, right? So what we have here is before I come to the command center of this application, let me just go into a unique feature that we have tried and brought in, right? So there's something called as harness engineering that is widely spreading out throughout the AI space today. So harness engineering is where we put in guardrails. So that entirely revolves around putting in guardrails so that Claude acts and thinks on only a scope of data. So we basically restrict so that we doesn't consume unwanted amount of tokens, right? So what we have here is something we call as a playbook, right? So playbook is something a business user can go in, open a Word document, type in all the analysis that he needs to do, just like a prompt, but it doesn't necessarily have to be as precise as a prompt. That is taken care by us engineers as part of this application. So all they have to do is the analysis that they have to do. Very simple. So in retail fashion industry, there's something called as dead inventory. So any metric, there are lots of metrics over the years that have been designed and developed to identify and prevent dead inventory from happening. So some of those metrics are sell through, which basically helps us, evaluate how my product is performing, and weekly cover how my inventory is doing with respect to sales, if it's in the right position. So now, as a business analyst, what I can come here and do is write in a Word document that's going to tell me, okay, go look at these metrics. These are newly launched products. This is how you identify newly launched products. And if it crosses a certain threshold, then act on it, create a work item for me. And that's it. So this Word document will have all those instructions, and I can basically upload any number of Word documents over here. And this, what's going to do is, once the Word document as a playbook is uploaded over here, we'll get this analyze button activated. Now with this analyze button, each time I run it, what it's going to do is basically, this is going to like run the playbook on top of the data that we have. Now, what data is it going to run on? I just told that like we should not feed the Claude with the entire data. So this is where Domo comes into picture. So Domo is an enterprise scale BI and AI platform that everyone knows here. So Domo is a platform where we have already engineered and data warehoused all of the data with respect to the business. So the data is already residing inside Domo in a clean, formatted, structured manner that that is currently powering those dashboards. So whatever dashboards the business sees today, it's already being powered by these data sets, and these are clean, pure data, which are warehoused, clean, and made ready for production use. Now, what I do is I run my playbook on top of this structured data. And what this is going to do, the agent is going to come, think on top of this data, reason what is to be done, what is needed, what is missing, and once it does, it's gonna give me the insights that it has found over here. Now, what as a business analyst I can do on top of it? I can create actions on top of it, chat on top of specific findings. So this is what I mean. We're gonna save a bunch of tokens just by this feature. So we're not gonna just push in the entire data into the cloud. We're gonna make sure that cloud only receives the data that it needs to analyze. So this is where it becomes an agentic solution, not just an agent. I don't want to get into too deep into what an agentic versus agent is, uh, but just to make sure even the technical folks here understand, it's an agentic solution where one is gonna plan what needs to be done and the other one does it. So that's what makes it an agentic solution. So what's happening here? The agent has run the playbook on top of the data that is production grade, and it is giving me results, reliable results that I can action on. So I can to basically create an action, I can directly create an action item from here. I can assign it to people, I can put in a due date on top of it, and I basically create a ticket and it gets assigned. Now, if I want to do further analysis, I'm not sure if the Claude has done proper reasoning on top of the data. And as business analyst, I need to, ask a few more questions so that it is responding properly. I can just type in my question over here. So just simply by putting hi only, it is gonna answer to us only with respect to what the analysis that we've done over here, right? So these are just sample highs. I just put the real time data also. I can ask it to run the playbook again, or I can ask it like what are the specific SKUs that I need to act on. It will be able to answer and give me the insights, right? So even if I just simply say hi, like I've done in this page, you can see it's going to tell me what I can actually, as a business analyst, can do on top of this. It's not just gonna tell me, for things that I ask on. It's even gonna suggest me what can be done on top of it. So that's the beauty of it all, right? So it understands the business, the way business runs. So now this is gonna change from organization to organization. The same playbook will not work out for a different enterprise. So yeah. So I can have the same application deployed in the different Domo instances with Domo data or even outside of Domo. And all I have to do is make sure the enterprise, the business users, they upload the right playbook. And this will be done on top of it. And once what happens after I create this, once the AI identifies these, action items, right? So yeah. So what happens after for each run? Let's say the agent finds out, okay, this is what you have to do, and this as an action item, you have to look at the inventory or do a restock or do store to store transfer. These are stocks at risk. Now I need a place where I can track these actions, right? So what I can do from the same application here, I can just create tickets on top of. So Airtable is like Jira, or it's just one sample system that is available outside of Domo that we have integrated the solution with. So all I can do is just trigger uh, 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 these tickets from here. And what happens is these get created as action items inside this Airtable. So Airtable is like a place where we can go create action items for each of our employees, like uh, you know, uh, to track actions. Basically, it's used in CRM and many other places. So I just triggered two different action items, and then it got created as 23rd, second and 23rd line item over here. So it's gonna give me what the email address, what I actually triggered the token. It's going to create a ticket. It's gonna come with severity, and it's also going to come with what the action item that it is going to suggest. The AI suggested action item will also be part of this ticket. So this is like the overall solution that we built. To just summarize, you have your data prepared at production grade. We deploy this application. We the business user uploads a playbook, and the agent takes care of the rest. It's going to go through the playbook, act on your data, and create action items for you to directly go and work on. And even to track your action item, we can use external tools like Airtable or Jira or Planner from Microsoft. We can do it. We can do any of it. So this is all about the demo. Let me go back into the presentation. Just a sec. Yeah. So Claude is a reasoning engine. So our CTO Subhash, so he is actually the brains behind the solution. So Subhash, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. So what you have seen is a live demonstration of what we have built, what we call it as a retail data analyst agent. But I want to like chunk it down and then explain you the technical things, whatever that we have done behind the scenes, right? The first one is Claude being a reasoning engine. Actually, the most important thing to understand here is it is not just a chatbot. Many people think that hey, Claude has an API. All we have to do is just hit it, and then it's gonna provide the response. It may look, simple, or it sounds simple, but in reality, it's not the case. Basically, Claude is a reasoning engine, actually, right? So that distinction changes everything. When most people hear AI, they picture a chatbot, something that responds to messages, summarizes the documents, or it can be as simple as drafting an email. It is all useful, but then it is very limited actually. I would like to draw a parallel. Think of it like a calculator and a CFO. A calculator is going to give you a number, but wherein your CFO tells you what that number means, why it changed over time, what is driving it, and how and what one should do about it. So Claude is much more closer to a CFO actually. It just doesn't retrieve the results, but basically it is going to provide the reason behind why that number is there. Or to put it in another way, Google versus Claude, right? So Google, if you do any search, it's gonna give you the page, but Claude just reads through the pages. It connects to three different pages, understand the context and which is there across all of these three, and tells you what exactly it means to you for your specific situations. So that is the difference that we are trying to make here. And look at those four different capabilities on this particular slide. The first one is reason and design. And already Dana gave a nice explanation for that. Analysis and synthesis, like it gonna rather than getting the results, it is going to analyze and then add more context to it so that everybody understands that. And whatever has been analyzed and synthesized, it is going to write and then it is going to create the artifacts for you. And the last one is execute and integrate. That is where your insights become actions actually. As Dana presented it here in this particular demonstrations, we created tickets in Airtable to somebody to act on it. You can extend this or extrapolate this use case to multiple, versions of it. For example, you can integrate this to your Microsoft Active Directory just to make sure that each ticket gets assigned to the right person within the org. So all we need is just the attribute of that particular person so that the ticket, whatever AI has created can be routed to the right person so that he or she can act on it on a timely fashion. And again, one more thing about this, the demonstration is that we can even extend it to automate the complete process itself. Right now, we restricted this. We wanted always the human in the loop. But once you have that confidence, what you can even do is the tickets get automatically generated. Here, if you have noticed, the analyst just clicks on the trigger Airtable ticket to create a ticket actually. But if you find the severity or else the criticality of that particular ticket to be on a higher side, you can even perform an automated option of doing that by using Claude's intelligence. Actually, that is what we call as. That is why the reason we call it as a reason engine actually. And moving on to the next slide, why Domo is AI ready? Before we again present a screen to showcase the live environment of Domo, I would like to set up the context for that. Think about like why And when an organization try to deploy AI, they choose the right model, they hire the right people, they spend months together to build, and 6 months later they are still stuck. Uh, we have observed this plenty of times because the data feeding into the AI, it is all siloed, stale, or simply not connected to the systems that matter to the business. So that is where exactly Domo comes into the picture. You have all the weapons in Domo's arsenal that you can use to integrate, to transform the data, to host it in a warehouse, to build an observability layer on top of that, and it lets you have the governed data sits on top of the Domo warehouse. It's nothing but a semantic layer that you have built, which lets Claude interact with it very easily. And not to forget, there is an important layer in between these two, which is MCP, which we'll be seeing later. Over to you, Dana, now to explain Domo in more detail.
Yeah. So let me quickly switch my screens. So why is it that we choose Domo? Right. So like I said earlier, most of the enterprise solutions use Domo, right? So they have their data already inside Domo, structured, properly warehoused, and ready for analytics. Now, on top of this analytics, we want to add an intelligence layer that's going to help uh, take actions faster. So that's what we're trying to enable here. So basically, to do all this, the foundation is the data layer, and Domo being the tool it is today, the platform it is today, it allows us to warehouse a, like currently the instance that I'm showing here, it just has it's GWC's own partner instance, and then we have inside it 138 billion records of data, all managed inside Domo for different use cases from different source systems altogether. And these structured they come into Domo as raw data, unstructured, not really suitable for analytics because the numbers will come out wrong. But once structured properly using magic ETL, that's what we call as the ETL layer that is available inside Domo. So once structured properly, we can get it into a proper data set that's going to power dashboards, which is also available inside Domo. And these data sets, right, as and when they are getting prepared, we can see something that is called as AI readiness, right? So it's an inbuilt feature of Domo that allows us to know if our data is ready for AI or not. If not, we can even improve it on our own. All we have to do is go in here, go to AI readiness, and then give each and every column the proper definition so that AI understands the data. Now, what we've built inside the solution is not just using this AI readiness layer, it's even a step further. It will have all logic sorted and MCPs trained to query the data in a proper manner. Now, with the terms of MCP, we'll see it at a later part of this webinar, but for now, I'm just introducing it. So this is like the data and the AI readiness layer on top of it. And not just that, it also helps us track our data, where it comes from. The entire lineage layer, we are able to identify and trace it out inside Domo. So with all this, we'll be able to like give enough context and pretext to the AI solution so that it reasons out and then gives us the proper outcome, right? The action items that it gives us is more reliable. So it cannot just tell me the sell through the week cover is 4.8 where in reality it is just 2.3. Even if it's a 2 point variation, it would impact the business very much. So here's what it is. The business knowledge comes from the business users, the organizations, right? And the data is hosted within Domo, and the execution happens through enterprise systems. So there'll be ERP systems, there'll be warehousing systems, and those are the places where the action will be taken. And Claude sits in the middle and acts as the reasoning engine. So this is the entire solution, people. Now let me go back to the presentation slide. Put it to full screen. Yeah. So this is the reason why Domo is ready than ever for a complete agentic solution to be hosted in it, and not to mention Domo's own agent hosting AI library being released last week. It makes it even more exciting to build solutions here. And the next one we are going to see is the MCP, and no better person for than Subhash. Come on.
Thank you, Dana. So yeah, I often, would like to draw parallels for each and every technical problem. So having said that, again, for MCP, think of it like a, USB connector, USB port, which is available in your laptop. So you have your pen drive, you have your mobile, any other external devices, and then you have your machine, the laptop, or whatever it is, right? So without an USB port, it is impossible for one to connect to any external devices and draw the information out of that. Just like how USB port is for a laptop, MCP is what connects between your you know the data warehouses, the CDWs, as well as the cloud actually. So it is actually, technically speaking, it is a open standard created by Anthropic themselves. It is a universal secure language that lets you connect to any kind of LLMs today. And with the MCP in place, cloud have live access to the data, and the responses would be more grounded in your records. The connectivity is all encrypted, governed, and auditable as well, and each query is a protected production grade, right? It's all monitored and compliant. Uh, I mean, it's just as simple as that. And GWC has built, and deployed the MCP connector between the cloud and the one that you are seeing today in this particular screen. So that connector is what made the demo that you the demo that you just saw possible. Without it, you have a very smart system answering general questions. With it, you have the intelligence system answering to the questions about your data, basically, right? Now, let me show you how all of these things comes together as a working system. The architecture. So it is basically a 6-tier architecture, but it can be grouped into 3 different layers altogether. One is the user experience layer, which is what you have seen in real time, where you are able to see the tickets that has been created in the insights that we have withdrawn from the cloud, all of that in the Domo stream. And then you have an agent orchestration, the specialized agents, and the MCP integration, everything related to AI. Agent orchestration is nothing but a master agent. It is going, it's like basically a coordinator which is going to let the whole system, the ecosystem know like which particular agent to call at what particular time. And if there is let's say an anomaly has been found out through one agent analysis, then it gives that message back to the master, and then the master decides whether to deep dive in BA language, if I have to drill through, filter, slice, pivot, and do whatnot, right? All those operations, the master agent gonna decide, and it assigns tasks to the individual specialist agents basically. So again, we use the A2A protocol behind that to make agents talk between each other. That is where exactly the agentic system comes into picture. Otherwise, it is going to be a mere agent that just going to be part in your workflow. But what we are seeing today is a agentic AI system wherein there are multiple agents talking between each other to provide us the yields basically, right? And then you have the upstream layer, which is basically the data foundation. As Dana rightly explained, Domo is there, which has almost 1,000+ pre-built connectors. All are like through the configurations, you will be able to connect to your transaction system, be it SAP, be it any kind of ERP, CRM systems. Within few clicks, it lets you connect, and you have got your Magic ETL, which is a no-code, low-code kind of a transformation engine within Domo itself, which lets you transform your data and store it in the warehouse. Um, um, I mean, that is the base to do any kind of transformation. And also, if something is not possible with the help of no-code, low-code, again, Domo has an extended capability of having your own Python or R language codes which you can host within Domo to do those transformational activities. On top of which you have your warehouse, the semantic layer, building area, all those stuffs. And I missed one important piece, which is the GWC's harness layer, which is MCP's integration, the USB port that I explained before. So all of this collectively, we have engineers, the forward deployed engineers, as well as the harness engineers to take care of the end-to-end full stack AI system, basically. Next slide, please. Domo and Yeah, Claude and Domo in action. So this is the output from the demo that you saw earlier, right? Let me break it down deliberately so that you understand exactly what the agent did. We asked one question: why did our gross margin decline last quarter or whatnot, right? And then there's a multi-dimensional business problem associated with this particular question alone. It is not just why my gross margin declined. So the master agent decides when to drill down and think of it like a senior analyst spending several hours getting through multiple data sets, manually cross-referencing, doing the lookups and all those stuffs. But with this particular agentic AI system, it is going to just take seconds to come back with a human readable response. Basically, you don't need to. You basically you don't have to have any kind of a mathematical or analytical knowledge to do all these things. It lets you be innovative in your business, uh, and it's going to take care of all those chaotic problem of what analysts and other data specialists are facing today in your industry. So let's move on to the next, Dana. And yeah, if one may ask, is it just relatable to retail? No, it is not actually, right? So the explanation, whatever that Dana, the demonstration, whatever that Dana has, it may be meant for retail, but that is common across all the industries, whatever that we have faced so far. It can be retail, it can be finance, operations, IT, IT, or it can be technology, SaaS platforms. So basically, everyone has their sales data, marketing data, their inventory, HR data, all those stuffs are there with them already. The only missing piece is I have the data. Now, how do I act on top of it? And this particular ecosystem, whatever that we have described in the last 40 minutes or so, it's going to solve that problem of, bridging the gap between your data, the insights, as well as the action.
Yeah.
With that,
So
I'm
just
handing this over to Mamta. Yeah, Dana, go ahead, please.
just concluding the same thoughts, Subhash. So, with the solution that we just demoed today, all you need is a playbook, and you'll be able to play around with your data and create action items. So that's it. So yeah, over to you, Mamta.
So basically, Subhash and DJ, you're telling if I have a playbook for the work that I perform in the day-to-day work, you'll be replacing Mamta. Is that correct?
No, not necessarily. So, uh, it all this is the type of mindset that we all have today. So let's say, let me just take 1 minute to explain this briefly, Mamta. I know it was a funny way intended question, but I'll just respond with a serious question because lots of people have the same question in their heads running around. In a business like retail, the time to decision is very critical. And let's say in most times, people lose money in business for the actions that they have not taken. So this agent is going to help Mamta come to a conclusion and take an action within 30 minutes instead of 3 days. Now that's the value add. Mamta is going to get more, appreciation for creating the proper playbook.
That's lovely, actually. Thank you, DJ, for
No,
uh,
one more
clearing
live
the question.
example, right? Mamta, like the Excel sheet that I have shared with you, wherein it just analyzed like what is the segment of participants that we have for today's webinar, and how you gonna follow up with them, what kind of follow up narratives that you should set. All of those are being populated by Cloud only, Mamta. There you go.
So looking forward for that demo in our upcoming webinar, Subhash. Okay,
Of
so there
course.
were plenty of use cases that we wanted to demonstrate in today's webinar. Given the time constraint, we chose the minimal ones and the impactful ones. So you can quickly type your questions in the Q&A. We'll pick it up and our speakers will answer. So before that, DJ and Subhash, I want to take a moment to discuss the responses to our poll questions that we did in the initial of the webinar, right? One of the interesting thing is we asked, what's the biggest AI challenge that you're facing today? To my surprise, I thought people will say cost, but Subhash, they have told security.
Yep.
So what is your take on that? Yep.
So I kind of hinted this during the demonstration itself, right? The MCP being the critical layer between both these parties. So every transaction, whatever that we do, it is all governed, it is all encrypted. Um, and in transit, no one will be able to see what exactly we are passing through the between the systems. So that kind of thing is what we bring to the table. And again, we can set up one more 30-minute session for that because that's a very hard topic. People would love to see that in real time how that happens actually. I may like in two or three sentences I might have answered that, but then we can have a separate session for that, Mamta.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. See, that is where we can understand how we can deploy this more securely and responsibly, of course. And we have a couple of questions in the chat as well. How long does it take to go live? And can we work this on the existing dashboard? Okay, that's two different questions.
Correct. Let's address one by one, right? How long does it take to go live? So typically it takes 3 to 6 weeks from a kickoff to a first production agent. The discovery itself is going to take 1 or 2 weeks of time and the build and test for another 3 to 4 weeks. You can be asking the real questions against the real data within a month.
Nice. So I'll just pick one last question. So what if the data quality is not perfect? Is that a problem?
Honest answer, yes, data quality matters. But we have uh, kind of a discovery assessment sessions, which will let us know in what state you are in. But the agents are built for real-time data, the real-world data, not the clean data actually. Part of the GWC engagement is to identify and fixing the quality issues against the agent accuracy.
Yeah. To add on top of Shiva's point, the one way of addressing it would be fixing. The other way was letting AI know what sort of imperfections that it has to deal with. So this comes under harness engineering that we were talking about when it comes to AI solutions, right? So we just have to let AI know what imperfections that it is dealing with before it gives us the output.
Oh, lovely. So couple of closing note. So I think we are on time. Thank you for that, DJ and Subhash. Perfectly planned. So will you give the credits to Claude, guys, that it was a perfect timing?
Of course, on one side, it was just reminding me that, this is the time for you to close this slide and move on to the next one.
Great, great. I would love to see the AI adoption more and more, of course. So to close, let's look back to 2005. The internet already existed. E-commerce was real. But the companies that moved or adapted this early between 2005 to 2010 built that advantages over the competitors spent the next years chasing. The ones that waited were still chasing up, catching up decade later. So we are at the exactly a very similar situation today with enterprise AI. The window is open. To be honest, it will not be open forever, right? So our roadmap, the path forward is very clear. Your data is already there in your system. Claude can be the reason over it. And like Subhash mentioned, MCP is the USB port that connects them. And of course, we as GWC, we deliver it production ready within weeks. We would be happy to work with you on the AI readiness assessment to help you identify where AI can create the highest business impact, how to prioritize a practical roadmap to implement AI securely and responsibly. So I'm about to close. Subhash, you want to say something?
Yeah. So whenever a new technology arrives, there are two kind of partners basically. The first kind is learning as they go, figuring it out in real time actually, right? With you as the learning curve. So they're going to learn through you only. The second kind of partner who has already built it, already hit the walls, already solved the hardest problems. With them, you are not the experiment basically, you are their delivery. So GWC is of the second kind. That's all.
Definitely. Absolutely. So, team, for all the attendees, we will be sharing today's presentation, that amazing presentation deck with all of you. So you can access it to the key concepts, the framework, and the examples discussed during this session. So finally, thank you so much for joining us today. We're looking forward to partnering with you in your AI journey. And Subhash and DJ, looking forward for the upcoming sessions and for more use cases.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much,
much,
Mamta.
Thank you.
Thank
everyone.
you, everyone.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you,
Nice day.
Subhash.